Imagine this. You've just walked into an important job interview. The person sitting across from you greets you with a warm smile. Their voice is calm, their words are encouraging, and everything seems to be going perfectly. Then, just as you finish speaking, something changes. They lean back in their chair, fold their arms across their chest, and look away for a few seconds. They haven't said a single negative word. But did they just reveal what they were really thinking? Now picture another situation. Someone confidently tells you, "I'm completely confident." Yet while speaking, their fingers keep tapping on the table. Their throat constantly goes dry. Their shoulders remain tense and slightly slumped. So which should you believe? Their words or their body? Welcome to this special audiobook. Today we are stepping into one of the most fascinating areas of human psychology, a world where silent signals often speak louder than words, a language every human being uses every single day, yet very few people truly understand. That language is body language. Experts have long observed that when a person's words and body send different messages, people instinctively trust the body more than the words. Why? Because the body often reveals the truth the mind is trying to hide. Can you recognize confidence simply by the way someone walks? Can you detect deception without hearing a confession? Can you understand attraction, fear, stress, or hidden intentions without a single spoken word? By the end of this journey, you'll discover the answers. But there's one warning. Once you understand body language, you'll never look at people the same way again. You'll begin noticing the subtle movements of their eyes, the hidden meaning behind their facial expressions, the position of their hands, the direction of their feet. And for the first time, you'll realize something remarkable. Human beings communicate far more with their bodies than with their voices. So let's begin our journey with one of the most powerful signals of all, eye contact. There's an old saying, the eyes are the window to the soul. But is that really true? Imagine a young salesman preparing for the biggest meeting of his career. He spends days perfecting his presentation, memorizing every statistic, and rehearsing every answer. Finally, the day arrives. He confidently walks into the client's office and begins presenting his proposal. Everything seems to be going well. But throughout the meeting, the client never looks away. He maintains steady eye contact without smiling, without nodding, and without giving any obvious reaction. When the meeting ends, the young salesman leaves feeling defeated. I must have failed, he thinks. But the next morning, his phone rings. The client has accepted the deal. Confused, the salesman later learns something surprising. The client's habit was to study people's confidence through their eyes. He believed eye contact revealed far more than words ever could. And that teaches us our first lesson. Eye contact is not simply about looking at someone. It is a message. When someone maintains balanced eye contact during a conversation, it often communicates confidence, honesty, respect, and genuine interest. But there's an important misunderstanding many people make. Avoiding eye contact does not automatically mean someone is lying. A shy person may avoid your gaze. Someone who is anxious may do the same. People who feel uncomfortable in social situations often struggle to maintain eye contact, even when they are being completely honest. This is why body language experts never judge a person based on a single signal. They look for patterns, not isolated behaviors. Imagine two candidates sitting in a job interview. The first speaks quietly but listens carefully, maintaining natural eye contact throughout the conversation. The second speaks confidently but constantly looks around the room, checks the walls, or glances away every few seconds. Without realizing it, your brain begins forming impressions of both people. This is the incredible power of nonverbal communication. Research shows that people often form first impressions within seconds, and much of that judgment is based on body language rather than spoken words. But balance is everything. Too little eye contact can make someone appear uncertain. Too much eye contact can feel intimidating, aggressive, or controlling. Confident people don't stare. They maintain eye contact naturally, then occasionally look away without making the other person uncomfortable. Consider another example. A company once studied its most respected managers to understand why employees trusted them so deeply. They discovered one simple habit shared by nearly all of them. Whenever they spoke to an employee, they gave that person their complete attention. They didn't check their phones. They didn't scan the room. They weren't distracted by anything else. Instead, they maintained calm, respectful eye contact, making the other person feel heard, valued, and important. Sometimes the greatest sign of respect isn't what you say. It's simply showing someone that in that moment, they have your full attention. Because eye contact silently says, I'm listening, I'm present, you matter. And often, those silent messages leave a stronger impression than any words ever could. But the eyes don't reveal everything. Sometimes the real story is written across the face itself. And that's exactly where our journey takes us next. Imagine asking a close friend a simple question. Are you okay? Without hesitation, they smile and reply, yeah, I'm fine. But for the briefest moment, something unusual happens. Their eyebrows tighten. The corners of their mouth drop ever so slightly. Then, almost instantly, the expression disappears. It happens so quickly that most people never notice it. Yet, in that tiny fraction of a second, their face may have revealed far more than their words ever did. Welcome to the fascinating world of micro-expressions. Micro-expressions are brief, involuntary facial movements that appear when genuine emotions slip through our conscious control. They often last only a fraction of a second before disappearing again. We can carefully choose our words. We can control the tone of our voice. But controlling our emotions completely is far more difficult. When someone suddenly experiences fear, surprise, sadness, anger, or joy, their face often reveals the truth before their mind has time to hide it. This is why psychologists have spent decades studying facial expressions. In one famous experiment, participants were instructed to hide their emotions while watching different videos. Some videos were funny, others were emotional, some were deeply disturbing. Most participants believed they had successfully concealed their feelings. But when researchers slowed the recordings down frame by frame, something remarkable appeared. Tiny flashes of genuine emotion slipped across nearly every face. These brief emotional leaks became known as micro-expressions. So how can we recognize them? Let's begin with happiness. A genuine smile involves much more than the lips. When someone is truly happy, the muscles around the eyes contract naturally, creating small wrinkles at the corners. The cheeks rise, the eyes brighten, and the entire face becomes involved. A fake smile, however, usually affects only the mouth. The lips smile, but the eyes remain emotionally distant. That's why we sometimes instinctively feel that someone's smile isn't completely genuine, even if we can't explain why. Now let's talk about anger. Anger often appears through lowered eyebrows, tightened jaws, compressed lips, and intense eye contact. Many people try to hide their anger, but their jaw often betrays them. Clenched teeth, pressed lips, tension across the face. These subtle signals often reveal an emotional battle taking place beneath the surface. Fear tells a different story. When people become frightened, their eyes often widen. Their pupils may expand. Facial muscles tighten. Some begin blinking more rapidly than usual. These are natural survival responses as the brain quickly scans for possible danger. Consider this real-world example. During a job interview, a candidate was asked, "Have you ever violated company policy at your previous workplace?" Without hesitation, he answered, "No, never." But just before speaking, a brief flash of fear crossed his face. The interviewer noticed it. Rather than accusing him of lying, he simply asked a few follow-up questions. Eventually, the candidate admitted that he had once broken company policy. Notice what happened. The facial expression didn't prove guilt. It simply revealed that the topic carried emotional significance. That's an important distinction. Micro-expressions are not evidence of deception. They are clues that guide us toward better questions and deeper understanding. Now think about surprise. When someone is genuinely surprised, their eyebrows rise, their eyes widen, and their mouth may open slightly. What's fascinating is that this reaction appears remarkably similar across cultures. People from different countries, speaking different languages, often express surprise in almost exactly the same way. Despite our cultural differences, many human emotions are universal. Here's a simple exercise. The next time you're talking to someone, don't focus only on their words. Watch their face. Notice how their expression changes when certain topics come up. Does their smile suddenly disappear? Do their eyebrows lift for just a moment? Does tension briefly appear around their eyes or mouth? The more you observe, the more you'll begin seeing emotional signals that most people completely miss. But while the face reveals emotions for only a moment, another part of the body continues speaking throughout the entire conversation. Our hands. And unlike facial expressions, our hands often broadcast our thoughts almost constantly. That's where our journey continues next. Imagine meeting someone for the very first time. They greet you with a smile. Their words are polite, and the conversation feels pleasant. But throughout the entire interaction, their hands remain buried in their pockets. Now imagine another person. They speak naturally, using open gestures. Their palms are visible, their movements are relaxed, and their hands seem to flow effortlessly with their words. Without even realizing it, who would you trust more? For most people, the answer is the second person. What's fascinating is that many couldn't even explain why they made that choice. Their brain had already reached a conclusion before they were consciously aware of it. This is the remarkable power of hand gestures. Thousands of years ago, when our ancestors lived in dangerous environments, one question mattered more than anything else. Is this person a threat? Visible, empty hands suggested safety. Hidden hands suggested uncertainty. Although the modern world has changed dramatically, the human brain still carries many of those ancient instincts. That's why open hands continue to signal honesty, confidence, and trust. Think about the world's greatest speakers. Their influence doesn't come from words alone. Their hands strengthen every message they deliver. When they emphasize an important point, their gestures naturally reinforce it. When they welcome an audience, their palms open outward. When they explain a complex idea, their hands help shape it visually. People don't simply hear their message, they experience it. Now consider this story. A young entrepreneur was invited to present his startup to a group of investors. His business model was impressive. His market research was solid. His product solved a real problem. Everything seemed ready for success. Yet throughout the presentation, he kept his hands hidden behind his back. His voice sounded confident. His presentation was polished. But his body told a different story. Afterward, one investor offered honest feedback. "Your idea was convincing," he said, "but you didn't seem completely convinced by it yourself." The entrepreneur was shocked. He had never said anything that suggested doubt, yet his hands had quietly communicated uncertainty. Now let's look at hidden hands. When someone constantly keeps their hands in their pockets or beneath a table, it can sometimes signal discomfort, insecurity, or hesitation. But remember, body language is never about one isolated gesture. Perhaps it's simply a habit. Perhaps they're cold. Perhaps they're just comfortable standing that way. Context always matters. Now, pay attention to the fingers. Sometimes a person's hands appear perfectly calm, but their fingers reveal what's happening beneath the surface. Repeated finger tapping, clicking a pen, twisting a ring, biting fingernails, restlessly rubbing the hands together. These small movements often reflect nervous energy or internal tension. Picture a candidate sitting in a job interview. From the outside, they appear calm. But underneath the table, their fingers grip the chair tightly, without them even noticing. Their hands are revealing the anxiety they're trying to hide. There's another gesture that communication experts often discuss. It's called the steeple gesture. Imagine someone lightly touching the fingertips of both hands together, forming a shape similar to the roof of a cathedral. This posture is frequently associated with confidence, composure, and thoughtful control. Many experienced executives, judges, and respected leaders naturally use this gesture during important conversations. But like every aspect of body language, balance is essential. When overused, the same gesture can make a person appear arrogant, distant, or overly confident. The message changes depending on how naturally it is used. Let's talk about another powerful signal: space. Confident people rarely make themselves appear smaller than they are. They sit comfortably. Their arms move naturally. Their posture remains open. They don't shrink into themselves. On the other hand, someone who constantly pulls their arms close, lowers their shoulders, or tries to occupy as little space as possible may appear less confident, even if they are highly capable. Interestingly, psychologists once showed participants silent videos of different people interacting. No voices, no words, only body language. Within seconds, most viewers identified the same individuals as the most confident and influential. Why? Because human beings instinctively read the language of movement long before they analyzed spoken words. Here's something practical you can apply immediately. The next time you walk into a meeting, an interview, or an important conversation, resist the urge to hide your hands. Allow them to remain naturally visible. Use calm, purposeful gestures when speaking. Occasionally show your palms. Let your hands support your message instead of distracting from it. Because people don't only listen to what you say, they also watch whether your body believes what your words are saying. And sometimes, your hands become the strongest evidence of all. But the conversation doesn't end there. Another silent signal begins speaking the moment you enter a room. The way you stand, the way you sit, the space you occupy. Without saying a single word, your posture begins telling your story. And that's exactly where we'll continue. Imagine walking into a large conference hall filled with dozens of people. Suddenly, the door opens. Two people enter the room. The first person walks slowly with slumped shoulders, a lowered head, and hesitant steps. Without drawing any attention, they quietly take a seat in the corner. A few moments later, another person enters. Their pace is calm and steady. Their shoulders are relaxed but straight. Their head is held naturally high. Their face is calm. They're not trying to impress anyone. Yet, almost instantly, several people in the room glance toward them. Why? They haven't spoken a single word. This is the extraordinary power of posture. We often think confidence is something hidden inside us. But confidence also has a visible form. Long before we speak, our posture begins introducing us to the people around us. Within seconds, the human brain starts asking silent questions. Can this person be trusted? Do they seem capable? Could they lead others? Do they believe in themselves? And surprisingly, our body often answers these questions before our voice ever does. Consider this story. A multinational company was interviewing candidates for a leadership position. After several rounds, only 2 applicants remained. Their qualifications were nearly identical. Their experience was equally impressive. On paper, they were almost impossible to separate. But during the interviews, the panel noticed something interesting. The first candidate sat on the edge of the chair throughout the conversation. His shoulders remained slightly hunched. He repeatedly pulled his hands close to his body, almost as if trying to disappear. The second candidate sat comfortably with a straight back. He wasn't trying to dominate the room, nor was he making himself look larger than necessary. He simply appeared calm, open, and composed. Later, the interview panel admitted that the second candidate naturally projected stronger leadership. It wasn't because he knew more. It was because his body quietly communicated confidence. This brings us to an important concept known as the power posture. A power posture isn't about looking arrogant or intimidating. It's about standing and sitting in a way that reflects stability, openness, and self-assurance. When you stand upright, when your shoulders are relaxed, when your chin remains level, when your body doesn't collapse inward, you naturally appear more confident. But something even more fascinating happens. Your posture doesn't just influence how others see you. It also influences how you feel. Research suggests that our body and mind constantly communicate with one another. When we spend long periods sitting with collapsed shoulders and a bent back, we often begin feeling less energetic and less confident. On the other hand, sitting upright can make us feel more alert, focused, and mentally engaged. In other words, your posture isn't only expressing your emotions, it can also shape them. Now let's talk about closed posture. Picture someone sitting with their arms folded tightly across their chest. Their legs are crossed. Their body leans away from the conversation. This posture may suggest discomfort, defensiveness, or emotional distance. But remember, no single gesture tells the whole story. Perhaps they're simply cold. Perhaps that's just how they naturally sit. This is why professionals never judge a person based on one signal alone. They observe clusters of behaviors. As several signals begin pointing in the same direction, the picture becomes much clearer. Here's an interesting example. A sales trainer once gave his students an unusual assignment. For the first 5 minutes of every customer conversation, they were told not to focus on the customer's words. Instead, they were asked to observe only the customer's posture. Months later, the students reported something remarkable. Customers who leaned forward were often becoming more interested in the conversation. Those who gradually leaned back frequently became more skeptical or emotionally distant. Without speaking, the body had already revealed the direction of the discussion. Leaning itself can also be meaningful. When someone naturally leans slightly toward you while you're speaking, it often signals curiosity, attention, and engagement. When they consistently lean away, it may indicate discomfort or emotional distance. Again, context always matters. Now, consider another fascinating study. University students were asked to deliver presentations while being recorded on video. Afterward, they watched their own performances. Many were shocked. They had believed they looked confident. Instead, they saw slumped shoulders, downward glances, and hesitant posture. Their words sounded confident. Their bodies did not. Once they corrected their posture, the impact of their presentations changed dramatically, even though the words stayed exactly the same. That's the hidden influence of body language. Try something right now. Sit up straight. Relax your shoulders. Lift your chin slightly. Take one slow, deep breath. Notice how your body feels. Perhaps the change seems small, but your brain has already received a new message. I'm ready. I'm present. I'm not backing away. Over time, those physical signals begin shaping your behavior from the inside out. But our journey isn't over yet. There's one part of the body that most people rarely pay attention to. Yet, it often reveals the most honest intentions of all. Your feet. Because while faces can be controlled and hands can be managed, feet often tell the truth without us even realizing it. If you truly want to understand what someone is thinking, don't just watch their face. Sometimes the real answer is hidden much lower. Look at their feet. At first, this may sound strange. How could someone's feet possibly reveal their thoughts or intentions? But the more you study human behavior, the more you'll discover that certain parts of the body are easier to control than others, and our feet are among the least controlled. Imagine you're at a networking event. Two people are chatting, smiling, and laughing together. From a distance, everything looks friendly. But if you look closely, you'll notice something interesting. One person's feet are pointed toward the exit. Their face remains engaged. Their voice sounds interested. Yet their body is quietly preparing to leave. This is one of the hidden secrets of body language. Our feet often point toward the place or the person our mind is most focused on. An experienced HR manager once shared an interesting piece of advice. During an interview, don't spend all your attention on the candidate's face. Watch their feet as well. When asked why, he smiled and replied, "People learn to control their facial expressions. Their feet often forget to lie." Now imagine another situation. Someone is speaking with you. They maintain eye contact. They smile. They nod as you talk. Everything appears positive, but both of their feet remain pointed toward the door. Does this automatically mean they dislike you? Not at all. Perhaps they're running late for another meeting. Perhaps they're distracted by something else. Or perhaps they're simply eager to leave. This is why body language should never be judged through a single gesture. Instead, look for patterns. Now consider the opposite situation. A person's entire body is turned toward you. Their shoulders face you. Their feet point directly toward you. Their attention remains fully focused on the conversation. This usually signals genuine interest and engagement. The body naturally orients itself toward what the mind considers important. Here's another example. A manager believed his weekly team meetings were highly successful. Everyone nodded. Everyone agreed. No one openly disagreed with his ideas. Yet the team's performance never improved. Eventually, he invited a communication expert to observe one of the meetings. The expert noticed something the manager had completely missed. While the employees nodded politely, many of their feet were pointed toward the door or the windows. Physically, they were in the room. Mentally, they were somewhere else. That single observation changed the way the manager led his meetings forever. He realized that participation cannot always be measured by words alone. Sometimes the body tells the real story. Foot direction can also reveal social dynamics. Imagine 3 people standing together in conversation. If 2 of them naturally point their feet toward each other while the third person's feet remain slightly outside the circle, it may suggest that the first 2 feel a stronger connection. The third person may still be included in the conversation, but the body often reveals relationships more honestly than words do. This is why skilled observers don't focus only on faces. They study the entire body. Now let's explore another fascinating subject: attraction. Behavioral researchers have often noticed that when someone feels drawn to another person, their feet unconsciously point toward them. It's not a magical rule, nor is it proof of romantic interest, but the body naturally tends to orient itself toward whatever or whoever it finds important. In that sense, our feet do more than carry us from one place to another. They quietly reveal the direction of our attention. Here's a simple exercise. The next time you're sitting in a cafe, walking through your office, or attending a social gathering, take a moment to observe people's feet. You may begin noticing conversations that seem friendly on the surface, but tell a completely different story through body orientation. However, remember this important principle. Never draw conclusions from one signal alone. If someone's feet point toward the exit, it doesn't necessarily mean they want to escape your conversation. Maybe that's simply the way they're sitting. Maybe the room is arranged that way. Professional body language experts always look for clusters of signals rather than isolated gestures. And perhaps the most important lesson of all is this: the purpose of reading body language is not to judge people. It is to understand them. Because the deeper your understanding becomes, the stronger your relationships and communication will be. But now we arrive at one of the questions almost everyone wants answered. Can body language actually reveal a lie? Can you truly tell when someone isn't telling the truth? Or are most of the so-called lie detection signs simply popular myths? Let's find out in the next chapter. Imagine asking someone a simple question. Did you finish the project? Without hesitation, they answer, yes, absolutely. Their words sound confident. But at the very same moment, they touch their nose, shift uncomfortably in their chair, and briefly look away before meeting your eyes again. So here's the question. Are they lying? Most people would immediately say, yes. But the truth is far more complicated. One of the biggest myths about body language is the belief that a single gesture can expose a liar. Avoiding eye contact does not automatically mean deception. Touching your face is not proof of dishonesty. Looking nervous is not evidence of lying. Why? Because an honest person can be anxious. Someone telling the truth may feel stressed during an interview, a difficult conversation, or an emotional situation. On the other hand, an experienced liar may appear perfectly calm. So what do professionals actually look for? They don't search for one magical signal. They look for changes. Not changes compared to other people, but changes compared to that person's normal behavior. That's where the real clues begin. An experienced investigator once said, "I don't catch lies. I notice unusual behavior." Think about it. Do you like our proposal? The customer immediately replies, "Yes, it's excellent." But while saying those words, they lean backward, cross their arms, and press their lips together. The experienced salesperson doesn't argue. Instead, they calmly ask, "Is there anything that's still concerning you?" Only then does the customer reveal their real objection. If the salesperson had listened only to the words, the deal might have failed. This is the true purpose of body language. Not exposing people, understanding them. Another useful clue is an unusual delay before answering. Sometimes people pause longer before responding to a sensitive question. But once again, this is not proof of deception. People pause for many reasons. They may simply be thinking carefully before they speak. The most reliable approach is never to depend on a single sign. Instead, observe multiple changes happening together. Changes in facial expression, changes in tone of voice, changes in posture, changes in gestures, changes in breathing. When several signals begin pointing in the same direction, the picture becomes much clearer. And finally, remember this important principle. The more you learn about body language, the more humble you should become. Human beings are not machines. Every person is different. Every situation is different. Every gesture depends on context. The goal is never to label someone as a liar. The goal is to understand what they may be feeling beneath the surface. Because understanding creates better conversations, better relationships, and better decisions. But now we move to a topic that has fascinated people for centuries. Can body language reveal attraction? Can the body silently show when someone genuinely likes you? And if so, how can we recognize those hidden signals? Let's discover the answers in the next chapter. Have you ever wondered if someone likes you, even though they've never said it? Imagine two people sitting across from each other in a quiet cafe. Their conversation is ordinary. They talk about work. They laugh about everyday life. Nothing unusual seems to be happening. But if an experienced observer were watching, they might notice a completely different story. One person leans in slightly whenever the other speaks. Their eye contact lasts a little longer than usual. Without realizing it, they straighten their jacket, adjust their hair, or gently smooth their clothes. But if an experienced observer were watching, they might notice a completely different story. One person leans in slightly whenever the other speaks. Their eye contact lasts a little longer than usual. Without realizing it, they straighten their jacket, adjust their hair, or gently smooth their clothes. And every time the other person smiles, their own face lights up almost instantly. The words may be ordinary, but the body is telling a much deeper story. This is the silent language of attraction. Before we go any further, it's important to understand one thing. Attraction doesn't always mean romance. It can simply mean admiration, curiosity, comfort, or a genuine interest in getting to know someone better. Whatever the reason, our bodies often reveal interest before our mouths do. Researchers have found that when people are around someone they genuinely enjoy, subtle changes begin to appear. They smile more often. They listen more carefully. They become more engaged in the conversation. And without realizing it, their entire body becomes more expressive. Consider this story. At a university, two students were part of the same study group. Everyone assumed they were just friends. But one classmate noticed something different. Whenever the young woman spoke, the young man's entire body naturally turned toward her. He reacted more enthusiastically to her comments than anyone else's. He remembered even the smallest details she mentioned. A few months later, they announced they were dating. For everyone else, it came as a surprise. But for the person who had been watching their body language, the signs had been there all along. Eye contact is one of the strongest indicators of genuine interest. When someone truly enjoys your company, they naturally maintain comfortable eye contact, not an intense stare, not an uncomfortable gaze, just the kind of eye contact that quietly says, "You have my attention. I'm interested in what you're saying. I'm fully present with you." Now let's talk about smiles. A genuine smile is effortless. It appears naturally. It reaches the eyes. It stays for the right amount of time. And it often returns throughout the conversation. Unlike forced smiles, genuine smiles involve the entire face. Another fascinating behavior is called mirroring. When two people feel comfortable together, they often begin unconsciously copying each other's movements. If one person takes a sip of water, the other may do the same moments later. If one leans forward, the other naturally follows. If one smiles, the other smiles too. This isn't deliberate imitation. It's a subconscious sign of connection and emotional harmony. Relationship experts often say that when two people begin moving in the same rhythm, they've already started building an emotional bridge. Physical distance also tells an interesting story. When we enjoy someone's company, we naturally want to remain close to them. We don't rush to end the conversation. We feel comfortable sharing the same space. But once again, context matters. Everyone has different personal boundaries. Standing close to someone doesn't automatically mean attraction. It's simply one piece of a much larger picture. Another common behavior is self-grooming. People often adjust their clothes, fix their hair, straighten a tie, or check their appearance when they're around someone they want to impress. It's usually unconscious, almost as if the brain is quietly saying, "I want to present the best version of myself." Now let's shift our attention to another powerful form of body language: leadership. Have you ever noticed that some people command attention the moment they enter a room? They don't speak the loudest. They don't interrupt others. Yet somehow, everyone notices them. Why? because true leadership begins long before the first word is spoken. Imagine a meeting with 10 highly qualified professionals. Everyone has experience. Everyone has valuable ideas. But as the discussion begins, the room slowly starts focusing on one person. They aren't dominating the conversation. They aren't raising their voice. Yet whenever they speak, people listen carefully. Even their silence carries weight. This quality is often called executive presence. It's the ability to project calm confidence, stability, and quiet authority. Here's a powerful example. A company faced a major crisis. Deadlines were slipping. The team was stressed. Panic was beginning to spread. Then the department manager entered the room. He didn't deliver a dramatic speech. He simply walked in calmly, looked around the room, took his seat, paused for a moment, and said, "All right, let's first understand the problem." Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. The crisis hadn't disappeared, but everyone felt more in control. That's the power of presence. Strong leaders share several body language habits. They move with purpose instead of rushing. They avoid unnecessary fidgeting. Their gestures are calm and deliberate. They remain physically steady, even during stressful situations. Their body quietly communicates, "I'm in control." Confident leaders also avoid making themselves look small. They sit upright, maintain an open posture, use balanced eye contact, and when someone else is speaking, they give that person their complete attention. People naturally trust those who make them feel heard. Interestingly, studies have shown that even when people watch silent videos with no audio, they often identify the same individuals as leaders. Without hearing a single word, observers recognize confidence through posture, movement, eye contact, and presence alone. Perhaps the greatest misconception about charisma is that it's something you're born with. Research suggests otherwise. Much of charisma comes from behavior. Charismatic people make others feel important. They remain fully present. Their smiles are genuine, and their body consistently supports their words. Leadership isn't about appearing powerful. It's about appearing trustworthy. Because when uncertainty fills the room, people naturally follow the person who appears calm enough to guide everyone forward. But body language isn't useful only in relationships and leadership. Its greatest impact often appears in the workplace, during interviews, business meetings, sales conversations, and high-stakes negotiations. That's exactly where our journey takes us next. Imagine walking into the most important meeting of your career. Across the table sits a potential client. Around them are decision makers, investors, and senior executives. The future of your project may depend on the next 30 minutes. You have prepared every detail. Your presentation is polished. Your facts are accurate. But before you say your first word, the room has already begun forming an opinion about you. This is the silent power of body language in business. Many people believe success in business depends only on intelligence, experience, or communication skills. Those qualities certainly matter. But there's another factor that often determines whether people trust you, follow your ideas, or invest in your vision. It's the message your body sends. Think about the best negotiators you've ever seen. They rarely appear rushed. They don't interrupt people. They don't react emotionally to every challenge. Instead, they remain calm, attentive, and composed. Their confidence isn't loud. It's steady. Now imagine two sales representatives presenting the same product. The first speaks rapidly, constantly shifts in their chair, avoids eye contact, and nervously fidgets with a pen. The second speaks at a relaxed pace. Their posture is open. Their gestures are deliberate. They pause comfortably after making important points, giving the listener time to think. Which person would you trust with your business? For most people, the answer is obvious. Because confidence is not only heard, it is seen. One experienced negotiator once shared a simple rule: the person who stays calm usually controls the conversation. This doesn't mean you should become cold or emotionless. It means learning not to let pressure control your behavior. During negotiations, silence can become one of your greatest strengths. Many people become uncomfortable when the room goes quiet. They rush to fill the silence. They begin explaining too much. They offer unnecessary discounts, or they reveal information they never intended to share. Confident negotiators understand something different. Silence creates space. It gives both sides time to think. And sometimes, the next person to speak gives away the most valuable information. Let's consider another example. A young entrepreneur was pitching his company to a group of investors. Halfway through the presentation, one investor leaned back, crossed his arms, and remained silent. The entrepreneur immediately assumed the investor disliked the idea. He became nervous. He started speaking faster. He added explanations nobody had asked for. By the end of the meeting, he had weakened his own presentation. Later, the investor explained, "I wasn't rejecting your idea. I was simply thinking carefully about it." The entrepreneur had misunderstood one gesture and reacted emotionally. This is why context is everything. Never assume you know what someone is thinking based on a single movement. Instead, observe the overall pattern. Another important skill in business is active listening. People often believe communication is about speaking well. In reality, successful professionals spend just as much energy listening. When someone is speaking to you, maintain natural eye contact. Face them with an open posture. Avoid constantly checking your phone or looking around the room. Small behaviors like these communicate respect, and people naturally trust those who make them feel heard. Although greeting customs vary across cultures, the principles remain similar. A confident handshake is firm but not overpowering. It communicates warmth rather than dominance. A handshake that is painfully strong may appear aggressive. One that is extremely weak may unintentionally suggest uncertainty. The goal is balance, respect, confidence, and professionalism. Business leaders also understand the value of personal space. Standing too close may make others uncomfortable. Standing too far away can create emotional distance. Reading the other person's comfort level allows conversations to feel more natural and productive. Now imagine you're presenting an important proposal. As you explain your idea, you notice several people leaning forward. They're making eye contact. They're taking notes. These are often positive signs of engagement. But if multiple people begin looking at their watches, checking their phones, or turning their bodies away, it may be time to change your approach. Perhaps your explanation is becoming too long. Perhaps the audience needs a clearer example. The body often provides feedback before anyone says a word. One executive coach tells every new manager the same thing. People don't only remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. Body language plays a major role in creating that feeling. When your words, voice, and body all communicate the same message, people experience consistency, and consistency builds trust. Whether you're leading a meeting, negotiating a contract, giving a presentation, or simply introducing yourself, remember that every movement sends a message. The goal is not to perform. The goal is to communicate with authenticity, because genuine confidence cannot be faked forever. It grows naturally when your thoughts, words, and actions are aligned. Now we've reached the final chapter of our journey. It's time to bring everything together and discover how you can master your own body language, not to manipulate others, but to become a more confident, trustworthy, and effective communicator in every area of life. We've reached the final chapter of our journey. Along the way, we've discovered something remarkable. The human body is constantly speaking, long before we say our first word, before we introduce ourselves, before we explain our ideas. Our posture, facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, and movements have already begun telling our story. The question is no longer whether your body is communicating. It always is. The real question is, what story is it telling? Imagine meeting someone who immediately makes you feel comfortable. They don't try to impress you. They don't dominate the conversation. They simply listen with genuine attention. Their posture is relaxed. Their smile feels natural. Their eye contact is warm rather than intimidating. Within minutes, you find yourself trusting them. What makes people like this so memorable? It's not a secret technique. It's authenticity. Their body and their words tell the same story. And that's where real confidence begins. Many people believe confident body language means standing taller, speaking louder, or taking up more space. But true confidence is much quieter than that. It doesn't demand attention. It earns it. Confident people don't feel the need to prove themselves every moment. They remain calm under pressure. They speak with purpose. They listen without interrupting. And they treat others with respect. Their confidence comes from within, not from trying to appear superior. So how can you improve your own body language? Start with awareness. For 1 week, simply observe yourself. Notice how you sit during meetings. Notice where your hands go when you're nervous. Pay attention to your posture while walking. Observe how often you make eye contact. The first step toward change is becoming aware of your habits. Next, practice small improvements. Stand with relaxed shoulders. Keep your head level. Allow your hands to move naturally while speaking. Maintain comfortable eye contact without staring. Smile when the moment genuinely calls for it. None of these changes require you to become someone else. They simply allow the best version of you to become more visible. Remember something important. Body language is not about acting. It is not about pretending to be confident while feeling insecure inside. People are surprisingly good at sensing when behavior feels forced. Real confidence develops when your thoughts, emotions, and actions become aligned. That alignment cannot be faked. It grows through experience, preparation, honesty, and self-respect. Another valuable habit is learning to observe without judging. As you become more skilled at reading body language, resist the temptation to label people too quickly. A crossed arm doesn't automatically mean resistance. Avoiding eye contact doesn't automatically mean dishonesty. A nervous gesture doesn't automatically reveal guilt. Human beings are complex. Every movement exists within a larger context. The goal is understanding, not assumption. The more curious you become, the more accurately you'll understand others. Think about the conversations you'll have after today. A meeting with a colleague, an interview, a family discussion, a conversation with a friend. You'll begin noticing things you never noticed before. You'll recognize genuine smiles. You'll see when someone becomes more engaged. You'll notice when stress quietly appears. You'll understand when someone's body is asking for space, reassurance, or attention. And perhaps most importantly, you'll become more aware of your own silent messages. Because communication isn't only about speaking clearly, it's about making people feel understood. People may forget your exact words. They may forget every detail of a conversation, but they rarely forget how you made them feel. That's the lasting power of body language. It builds trust. It strengthens relationships. It improves leadership. It creates deeper understanding. And it reminds us that communication is about far more than language alone. As you leave this audiobook, remember one final thought. Every day, every conversation, and every interaction gives you an opportunity to communicate with honesty, confidence, and respect. Not through rehearsed gestures, not through manipulation, but through genuine presence. Because the most powerful body language is never artificial. It is simply the natural expression of a calm mind, an open heart, and authentic confidence. Thank you for joining this journey into the hidden language of human behavior. From this moment forward, you'll never watch a conversation the same way again. You'll see what most people miss. You'll hear what is never spoken. And you'll understand that sometimes the loudest messages are the ones delivered in complete silence.